안녕하세요 여러분, 저는 루이입니다. 오늘은 지금 우리 학교는 드라마를 대해서 이야기할 거예요. Whew. I'm glad I got that out. This is actually the second time I'm filming this video because I actually just filmed it, and then when I went to import it into my computer to edit it, it had all gotten corrupted for some reason. So this is round two. I am going to look down a little bit more than I usually would, just because I actually want to make sure I'm covering everything in my notes, because the second time around, if I'm filming the same video, I sometimes forget what I've talked about and what I haven't because I talked about everything already. But that also gave me the chance to say that whole Korean spiel one more time, because the first time was rough. So you guys voted, and it was a really close tie between either separate videos between this one and then also Snowdrop, or a combined video, and I do believe separate videos won out by like 1 or 2% of votes. And so we're doing separate videos, and we're starting with 지금 우리 학교는 only because it's the script that I have finished. Review를 시작해요. 먼저, the synopsis. All of Us Are Dead, which is the English title for 지금 우리 학교는. All 12 episodes did drop on Netflix on January the 28th, which is a good thing because I binged everything in like 2 sittings, so I was very happy that all episodes dropped at once. And it follows a group of students who are trying to survive the zombie apocalypse, which is ravaging the halls and their classmates around them. So let's just go right into my pros and cons. Let's not waste any more time. So the first pro is the overall atmosphere, the tension, the high stakes, the claustrophobia, like the atmosphere of the show. You guys recently asked me to compare this show and the recently concluded Happiness, which I've also done a full review on. They're both Korean zombie shows. They're both about a band of survivors who are trapped within buildings. In Happiness, it's a recently married couple who are trapped within their apartment building. Here, like I said, it's a group of students trapped within their school. And I don't think I gave you a really straight answer because I feel like they're very different shows. One of my main criticisms of Happiness was its overall lack of claustrophobia, lack of tension, lack of a sense of danger, and in this respect, 지금 우리 학교는 is by far superior. This show is incredibly fast-paced. Before I even got engaged and really attached to any of the characters, I was super interested in the overall plot and story. I was here for the zombie apocalypse before I was there for any of the characters. Which is, you know, a little bit of a con in itself, because I don't think I got attached to anybody until probably halfway near the end of the second episode, which is a little bit of a long time to get invested in anyone. That's a whole other topic. Right now we're talking about the atmosphere. 지금 우리 학교는 definitely has that sense of claustrophobia. Our characters are constantly trapped in different areas of the school, and it's really a testament to the good writing that you don't get bored of it. You know, like, the characters are very smart in how they survive every situation, and although it might not be super realistic, it's realistic enough that you believe it, especially in the way that things are portrayed on screen. The show has incredibly high stakes. People are constantly dying. Definitely characters you wouldn't expect to be killed off so soon. And this fact is super important because these types of zombie apocalypse survival shows, their success really hinges on the high stakes and the danger that you feel. With 지금 우리 학교는, there's danger presented not only from the zombies but also from other survivors. And I've said it before and I'll say it again, that the most interesting part of apocalypse shows for me is watching how humans treat each other in times of crisis. And that discussion is here within this show, and I loved it. Another discussion that they're having, which is very well done in the beginning, we'll talk about the ending, is bullying, and intensive bullying at that. Definitely a trigger warning for anyone who is sensitive to bullying, because the bullying is not super graphic, but it's not holding any punches. You know, there's violence between the boys, but then also a female student is targeted with sexual humiliation. So it's there. You have been warned. The discussion it's having is crucial to the overall plot. And it's very critical about how the adults and Korean society at large are failing the youth, essentially. So the bullying is not just there to be gruesome or offensive, it's there with a purpose. So if you don't mind that, then I think you'll enjoy it the way I did, because I did enjoy the things it had to say. Move on in the pros, I'm gonna talk about the overall cast. I don't know when the moment happened, but I went from not really caring about anybody and really being along for the roller coaster ride and the engrossing plot of the series to suddenly loving everybody on screen, and I don't know when that happened. I really, really loved both sets of leading characters, like our male and female lead, but then also our secondary male and female lead. I loved them together, but then also their interactions together I really, really enjoyed. Very believable, but I also really enjoyed characters like the archery Unni. I really liked her, and I really liked her band of characters that she was with. I wish we got more scenes with them. I really wish this series was longer. Another 2 episodes I think would have been just like a sweet spot, because again, I didn't love the characters at first, and so when I did love them, suddenly they were dying, and then suddenly the series was over. So I would have liked more time with them for sure. And another standout for me is like the bigger kid that like everybody kind of teases him about not allowed to go out on certain like quests because he's too big. It was really cute. But he can sing, and I just found him super charming. So yeah, the whole cast of characters, I really, really enjoyed them. And lastly, for my pros, I do want to talk about the smart writing one more time. Not only with situational writing, but the dialogue between characters, the character interactions were very good, very smart. I really believed a lot of the friendships that develop, and also the zombies. Oh my god, you guys, Korea is so good at making very creative zombies. Like this, in 지금 우리 학교는, the zombies are definitely a virus, and so the virus is allowed to mutate and change the way real life viruses do. So depending on what kind of strain you get, you're gonna be a different type of zombie, and that's all I'll say, because I loved that. Let's just move on to cons now before I spoil anything. So the con I have is twofold. The first part is that certain symbols or discussions that were brought up in the beginning were never fully utilized or developed. I feel like there was some lack of follow-through with this show. For example, the bullying, which I just kind of raved about, but near the end they kind of dropped the ball with the bullying. I don't think that they brought the discussion back in a meaningful way. So it was presented very well for like the setup of the show, but then at the end it doesn't come full circle, and I do think that contributed to the fact that the ending was not very satisfying to me. So yeah, first, the bullying wasn't a fully fleshed out, developed conversation through the entire show. The second part of that first point is that there's some underdeveloped symbolism. It just doesn't go anywhere, and the main example is how in the first episode especially, they are tying Christianity or religion with violence. They're really associating and coding those two things together. but that doesn't go anywhere. Like, they're not having a conversation about religion ever. So I found it really weird that they did that in the first episode. I know this is based on a webtoon, I believe. Don't quote me, I did not look into this very much, so maybe the webtoon or the source material does have a better discussion about, you know, religion and violence. But as it stands right now, I just don't understand why they paired the two themes together in the beginning, because nothing comes of it. Like, for example, the first scene of major bullying, you see a cross reflected in a puddle as, you know, this trauma is happening. And then later a father uses a Bible to murder his son. These are just two examples, and it's just like, I'm at a loss for words. I'm just very confused. But my last criticism or con is the ending itself. It's so rare for me to be satisfied by an ending in general, and in this case I feel like I didn't strike a good balance between wrapping up enough of the existing plot while providing a hook for a potential second season. And I'm gonna say spoiler warning now, because I really can't talk about my criticism here unless I give specifics. Don't want to hear anything about the ending jump to this time, or it'll also be in a chapter below. Still here? Okay. If it were me, I would have cut the show at the moment where our female lead sees the fire on the rooftop of the school. Maybe not like at that exact moment, but say while they're getting ready to go out on the quest, essentially, to find out who that person is. I would not have given away that it was the second female lead and kind of what the second female lead had been up to, because those are such good questions that could be raised in a potential premiere of the next season. I don't think we needed all that information. Also along those lines, I feel like too much of the zombie apocalypse had been wrapped up so neatly in the first season. I think it would have been enough of a conclusion for our main survivors to simply get to the survivors camp. Like, I don't think we needed to know that like the apocalypse or like the zombie outbreak was under control and like things were going back to normal. Like, I don't think we needed all of that. I think we could have continued the sense of danger or potential danger for the second season. Yeah, that's basically it. I feel like we were given too much almost, because it's not confirmed or anything that we are getting a second season. So yeah, I just like the whole, like, I'm just unsatisfied. But that again could just be me, because I am so picky when it comes to endings. So let me know down below what you thought of the ending, or if you had any problems with it or anything, because I'm curious. Okay, end of spoilers. My overall rating for 지금부리 학교는 is going to be a 3.75 to 4 stars out of 5. I really struggle with deciding where to place this on my own personal scale, because I really did love the series, but I really didn't love the ending. Endings are just super important to me. It's how I usually remember the show going forward, and at the moment I'm just not going to remember 지금부리 학교는 as something that really satisfied me, because the ending didn't do that. And so finally, do I recommend the series? Yes, if you're already a fan of zombie apocalypse survival type shows, for sure. Definitely give 지금부리 학교는 a try. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. If you don't already like the zombie genre but are wanting to get into Korean zombie shows, because they're by far more creative than Western zombie shows, I don't know if I would start with this one. I think I would start with Happiness first, and then transition to this one, simply because this one is a little bit more graphic, more horror, whereas Happiness is definitely slower. It's more melodrama-y, but still has some really great zombie moments. Have a good day and a good night. Bye. I wonder how I could say that in Korean. I think we'd use like the verb to spend, like 보냈어요, or no, that's past tense. Would it be like what's the word for day? 옷? No, that's clothes. Nat? Is this like nat? I think that's day. So would it be like nat 보낼까요? I don't know. Bye!